Hey y'all, welcome to Fitting and Homemaking. My name is Sarah. As you can tell from the apron, it is a baking day. Yay! We are going to be making some cranberry orange scones for my husband's birthday. It was supposed to be a surprise, but he got home earlier than I thought he would today. So he's in the bedroom, possibly with earplugs in, not being able to hear me narrate this video. Not certain, so maybe it's a surprise, maybe it's not. But he likes cranberry orange flavored things, and I haven't baked him anything like that since we were dating. So I thought it'd be a nice little surprise for his birthday breakfast tomorrow. Today I have quite a bit of frantic energy because I have 5,000 things to do and not enough time to do it in between work and YouTube stuff and house stuff. And there's an ice storm coming, so that's fun, and just getting ready for my husband's birthday. So if I seem a little frantic, it's because I am. Let's get started. I have an appointment at 3, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm using the recipe from Taste Better from Scratch. Can't remember if this is the recipe I used before or not, but it's got some good reviews. So let's try it out and let's see if I can do this without messing it up. All right, first things first, what do we need to put the oven on at? Preheat to 400 degrees. Okay. All right, done. That's going. All right, in a large bowl, whisk together the flour, sugar, baking powder, and salt. Okay, how much of each of those do we need? Let me go get a spoon. Yeah, so guys, sorry, apologies if this is not like the more relaxed baking thing, but some days I just cannot achieve that. I didn't sleep well last night. I slept really poorly, actually. Had a lot of anxiety about all the things happening and the world, and just, you know, I've got ADHD, so apparently that just comes with anxiety, which is fantastic. But yeah, I couldn't turn my brain off last night, so I got very little sleep. I do have pills that I can take on occasion to help with that when I really need them to. However, they're the kind of pills that they're anti-anxiety with the kind of, what would you call that? The reasoning behind them, I guess, is you can't be anxious if you're passed out. So I have to be really careful when I take them. So usually I do just take them at night if I'm having some trouble sleeping. However, I was up and like just running through things and just not being self-aware about what time it was. So that's 1 cup. And I passed the point of no return with when I need to make a decision about if I'm going to take one of those or not. Because if I wait too far in the night to take them, like the next day I'm just a zombie and pretty like not useful to myself for anything productive. So it was well past midnight when I first thought, oh, maybe I should take a pill for this. And I checked the time. I'm like, oh, well, that window has passed. Especially knowing that I had so much to do today. All right, 2. What's next? 6 tablespoons of granulated sugar. Okie doke. Tablespoon. Granulated sugar. But yeah, so I'm just having one of those days where it's a little bit tough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, sugar is done. 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Baking powder. Teaspoon. 1, 2, and 1/2. All right. Now we need salt, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I generally like to grind this up, but the mortar and pestle that I did get for grinding up the salt is in the bedroom, and I don't want to wake up my husband if he's napping. So See if I can make it a little bit smaller by crushing it between my hands. No, that doesn't really work that well. Mortar and pestle, chef's kiss, works excellent. And then, what did it say? The next thing's butter. So I'm assuming that's all the stuff, and we whisk it together. Let's double check that. Yes. So yeah, I hope everyone is warm and safe. This video is actually going to post on my husband's birthday, which is January 24th. If you want to see the true frantic quality, and I can't remember if I said this already or if I just thought about it, but I just filmed a video of like preparing for his birthday, not including this. Maybe I'll include a little snippet of this to kind of make that a little bit more complete. I don't know. Probably not, because that's more work. And as you can tell, I'm very obviously overwhelmed already. But yeah, if you want to see the true frantic, crazy, and what I deal with on my work from home days, where I don't have like specific time really set aside to do a bunch of stuff, go watch Wednesday's video, you know. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss it if you really want to see the crazy that is kind of like more of the realistic day-to-day life of what it feels like to be inside my head. Maybe that'll be entertaining for y'all, but highly recommend. Go check it out. I will have to make sure, I'll probably try to edit both of these videos tonight because like I said, or maybe I didn't, but we're having an ice storm this weekend here. Unfortunately, the snow counts, originally they were predicting, not the National Weather Service, but like the crazy people who run my weather app, they were predicting, sorry, let's see, what do I have to do next? Because I have limited time. Grate frozen butter into the bowl and combine until it resembles coarse meal. Okay. It's a half cup of unsalted butter. I do have a half cup of unsalted butter. I'm gonna take off my ring so I don't get flour all in it when I do that. And I'm just gonna grate it in there here. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the crazy weather app people, like this past Monday were like 15 to 19 inches of snow. And I live in central North Carolina, and that is just crazy talk. It is absolutely crazy talk. But yeah, now that it's going to start tomorrow evening, they're like, maybe an inch of snow and like 2 inches of ice. It's like, yeah, that sounds like more like what I'm used to seeing lately. I guess there's gonna be like warm air in the upper atmosphere sections that, you know, concern weather. I'm not a weather person. So even though it's gonna be cold enough on the ground to snow, we're gonna get stupid freezing rain and it's gonna ice over all the power lines and life is probably not gonna be great. So I don't know if I'm gonna have electricity or internet early next week to do editing and posting of things. So I'm gonna try to get that done tonight after the kids are in bed and after I've set up stuff for my husband's birthday in the morning. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with here. Also trying to pay attention not to grate my knuckles. Have y'all ever grated your knuckles before? It's like not the best feeling on earth. And then I worry about where did that chunk of skin go, right? So this is just for my family, so it's not a huge deal if we're slightly cannibalistic if I, you know, grate part of my finger in here. We end up eating it. No one's ever gonna eat at my house again. When I cook for guests, I'm definitely very careful, and I'm like half joking about eating finger bits, right? Sorry, I was just thinking this is like how unhinged Beth's lives get. If you're not subscribed to Beth, go over to Feral Treadwife. Subscribe to her, she's hilarious. I haven't been able to catch up on her content lately, but I did manage to dip into her live the other day, which was lovely to just have a very short, minimal chat with the folks in there. But yeah. All right, now we're at the dicey part. All right, so once I get this grated in here, and honestly, this is how, whenever I'm doing biscuits, I also just freeze the butter and then grate it in. because I find you just get a better result that way. You don't have to overwork the dough trying to get the butter into small enough pieces. And then in the directions it says to put, once this is incorporated, to go ahead and put it in the fridge so that the butter stays cold while you're mixing the other stuff together. Because you want the butter to be cold because you want it to melt when it's being baked in the oven, and then it creates those wonderful little buttery pockets. So that's what really makes it have a nice texture. All right, that's close enough. And as you can see, I'm taking my frustration out on my cheese grater. I moved down the grater. Okay, let's get all this butter off. Come on now. Okay. So let's, and normally I would kind of, so I just have like a ball of butter here, but normally I would mix it in a little bit better as I go, but I am just trying to get this done. Also trying to think of making this with love. Like I said, the last time I made cranberry orange scones for my husband, we were actually dating, and it was actually the day after he told me that he loved me. I had already made the scones at that point because we were going out of town. I can't remember if it was a long weekend or what, but we were going to the beach and we were going to spend the night in Beaufort on Saturday, and then we were going to drive down to Oak Island where his dad and his wife lived at the time. They no longer live there. And I was meeting his dad for the first time. And then we were going to stay the night with them. But the Friday night before, my best friend and her husband, this was right before they moved abroad to the Emirates, so we had her going away party. And the girls, we were all partying, and we all brought our partners, boyfriends, spouses, whoever, with us, assuming that the guys would be, you know, designated drivers, because this is the last time us girls were going to see each other for quite some time. And then that ended up not happening. It became abundantly clear at one point in the evening that us ladies needed to stop imbibing because we were going to be the people driving home, and we didn't need a drink to have fun, right? We were dancing and all that sort of thing. And we were just at my friend's house, so push come to shove, we could just stay overnight. But then my husband, then boyfriend, had a little bit too much, as did all of the other spouses. So I ended up having to drive his car home. But right before we were leaving, he shouted up the stairs while I was using the restroom right before we left that he loved me. And then like we had some words about that the next day. So our departure from the house the next day was a little bit delayed to help him deal with somewhat of a hangover, but we ended up having a great weekend. And I had made the cranberry orange scones, to bring the story back around to why I was even telling you guys, to have in the car on the trip down there, and also to like bring to his dad's house. So fun story, huh? But yeah, my husband first told me he loved me when he was very drunk, yelling up the stairs in front of all my friends while I was using the toilet. Super romantic. Okay, so we have combined this until it's like course meal a little bit. It's going to get combined more, so I'm not too worried about that. Let's put this in the fridge like it tells me to, if we have space in the fridge. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Probably need a wet measure. Getting flour absolutely everywhere, but that's okay. All right. Why is this angled down so much? Okay. Small bowl, combine the sour cream, but I'm using yogurt instead of sour cream. Heavy cream, egg, vanilla, and orange zest. Okay. So everything except for the cranberries. 1/3 cup of sour cream, which I'm using yogurt. 1/3 of a cup. I really probably should have put my hair back, but too late for that, isn't it? All right. We do have sour cream. I'm just like choosing to use the yogurt instead. But it does say sour cream, light, regular, or sub plain yogurt. So, all right, there's a third cup of yogurt. Fantastic. A third cup of heavy whipping cream. In case I spill, I don't want that to be fouled up. All right. I know one side there. This side has a third cup measure. Oof, we're getting close on time. All right, 1/3 cup. One large egg. All right, fantastic. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Let me go rinse it off. I love the look at this apron, but sometimes I grab down here on the lace part and it's just not terribly useful for drying your hands on. What did I say? 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I guess we'll measure that since it's right here. Boop. Okay. The zest of 1 orange. Now, this is a massive orange, so I'm not going to zest this whole thing. That's just freaking ridiculous, right? Come on now. There we go. All right, so. What do you think, half of this probably? I do want it to be orangey so that you can actually taste the orange, not just the cranberry. What the hey, we'll do most of it. Okay. There we go. All right, presumably I mix this together. Combine, and then pour it over the flour mixture. Gently stir to combine until everything's moistened. Fold in the cranberries, and then pour it out into a flavor. Okay. So what I'm doing now is I just have like a rolled up mat that I can put down on the table. If I can get it out here, so that I won't have to flour the surface. I meant to grab that beforehand, but forgot. Let's get this all combined. I don't want to overwork the egg, but I also don't want it to be chunky. Okay. I don't want to lose that stuff. All right. Didn't use those. This stuff is all done. Need this. Wipe that off a little bit, and I'll go get my flour mixture. Keep that over here. Okay. Flour mixture. Guys, look at my handles. I don't know if you can see that or not. Okay. Oh, and it went to the top again. Combine this. Pour it over flour mixture, gently stirred, combine just until everything's moistened. Okay. If I'm remembering correctly, scones are pretty dry as a dough. Okay, flour or grease your hands and gently work the dough together. Pour it out on a flour surface, press the dough, or use a rolling pin to gently roll it into a circle about 1 inch thick. Gently, just until everything is moistened. Okay, things mostly moistened. We gotta fold in the cranberries. Almost forgot about the cranberries. How many cranberries do I need? Or how much, really? I'm not gonna count them out. 1 cup of, it says fresh cranberries, but then in a note it says that you can also use dried ones. I could not find fresh cranberries, so we're using craisins. This is a 1/2 cup measure, so. All right, there we go. I think that just guaranteed that my kids are not gonna eat these. Maybe they will. They tend not to like fruit in baked goods that much. They love fruit, just, I don't know if it's like a texture thing in baked goods or what. Okay, that seems fine. Get some flour on here. Glad I didn't just knock over my drink. Even though this is a silicone mat, it shouldn't stick too badly. Definitely just threw flour on the floor in my rush. All right. Actually, okay. Now I have flour absolutely everywhere. I am actually going to do this with my hands, I think. All right. I'll try to get it pressed together in here a little bit. See if we can get those stuck in there. Get down there. I should have reserved a spoon. Let's go ahead and see. Let's say circle about 1 inch thick. Get it all the way up my wrist, guys. So messy. What do you say? It's about an inch. Get in there, you. An inch is pretty thick, but I'm guessing that this is going to have little to no rise. It's probably closer to like a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch, but I think that will be okay. All right. Need something to cut it with. I will say though that I am happy with the consistency. Let me get one of my husband's things here. We usually use this for like pizza or other dough things, but I am happy with the consistency. This would have been way easier if I would have centered it on my thing here. But when did I ever do things the easy way? Cut into 8 wedges, okay. We're not gonna be super precise with this. Oops. There we go. Okay. All right, and I think I remember the oven beeping, so that should probably be ready to go. All right, let's see. Can't see this, but I'll move it so you can see it in a bit. All right. And we'll do, is that about right? Yep. I'm putting on this on here in like the least efficient way possible. All right, guys, sorry. My phone alarm went off to remind me that I have 10 minutes until I have my therapy appointment at 3, and it stops recording when the alarm goes off for some unknown reason. So either that or I just never started recording, and I'm gonna cry if that was the case. Really hope that's not the case. All right. Okay. Let me get this stuff set to the side. Okay. So this is what we're looking like after it's been cut up. And it says, place scones on your baking sheet, brush the tops of them with a little bit of heavy cream, bake for 15 to 18 minutes until golden. Okie doke. I'm just gonna pour a little heavy cream into here. And go get the brush. Which is thankfully clean. Oh, that didn't shut. Okay. All right. Here's your cream bath. Oh, might need more heavy cream than that in there, which is fine. My therapist is gonna be like, you are doing too much. And I will tell her, yes, that's accurate, absolutely accurate. But you know what, it's worth a day of being frantic to make my husband feel special for his birthday tomorrow, you know? And part of it is just normal work stuff, and part of it is normal housekeeping stuff, and part of it is just winter apocalyptic storm possibly coming. So that's okay. It's okay to not be okay all the time. My mom, for Christmas, I've been really wanting to get into embroidery, and I just not had the time to focus on it, or I've been like too tired when I do have the time to focus on it. But she got me a Bob Ross embroidery kit. So you like embroider one of his scenes, and then there's like a bonus kit with it that says something about happy little mistakes on it. So that'll be fun if I can ever get to it. Maybe hang it up somewhere to remind me of the wisdom of Bob Ross. I think we all need to have sort of a Bob Ross, Mr. Rogers kind of point of view in the chaos that is today. I am really sad for people who did not grow up with Mr. Rogers and with Bob Ross. If you haven't, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go look on YouTube. They have old episodes of Mr. Rogers. They have lots of reaction videos to people seeing Mr. Rogers for the first time. Will warn you, a lot of those, there's like some crying in them because it's just like so heartfelt and pure. But just watching a Bob Ross video is just so relaxing. Okay, that's done. Let's get these in the oven. I'm gonna sign off. You probably won't see me take them out of the oven because I'll be in therapy, so I'll just turn the oven off, take them out, and then we will pretend that I'm taking them out of the oven for the first time when I see you guys again. All right, let me go put these in the oven. And how long do they need to be in? They need to be in for 15 to 18 minutes. So let me go ahead and set my watch timer for 15 minutes. So I can check on them in the middle of my therapy session because my therapist literally does not care. There we go. I will see you when I fake take them out because they will have already been taken out. All right. All right, y'all, my therapy session is over. So let's fake take the scones out of the oven because obviously they would have been burnt to a crisp if I left them in there this whole time. But oven's off. Let's go ahead and take a look. Ooh. All right, let's set them down and then bring you guys closer. All right, so this is what we're looking like. I love the glossiness. I don't know if you can tell. I don't know if you can tell how glossy they look, but they look glossy and golden brown, just wonderful. So let's see what they taste like. Okay, y'all, hopefully my head isn't cut off. If it is, oh well. So this is what they look like. I think they look fantastic. Like I was saying, over by the oven, the top has a nice glossy sheen to it, and it's nice and golden brown. And that's from brushing the heavy cream on top. So let's see what the texture is like. These have smelled so good, but for once, it's probably actually cool enough for me to eat since I had to wait for my therapy session to be over. Look at that. That looks so delicious. Let's take a taste. Look at the inside here. Doesn't that just look so delicious? I love it. It is so good. That has such a nice buttery texture to it. It's not dry at all. Like some scones can turn out a little bit dry. I was really pleased when I was patting it out into that circle. I could tell that it was going to have a good texture because of the, let me say texture one more time. The texture of the dough just, it wasn't overly dry. I could feel the butter in it being a good consistency, I guess, would be the way to say that. But that was a delicious bite. I can smell the orange zest in it and I can taste it. So there is a glaze that goes with this recipe that I didn't make because you know how I feel about glazes. Maybe I'll ask my husband and see if he wants me to make it since these are for him. But it's a glaze where it has orange juice, milk, and powdered sugar, I think, and you just put it on the top. But we don't like our baked goods terribly sweet, and this is definitely sweet enough. I'm gonna get a chunk with one of the craisins in it, one of the dried cranberries, because I don't think that chunk that I just had any in it. Apologies, my mouth is watering so bad right now. So the craisins on the inside actually stayed decently moist. But yeah, this is just, what do they call this? The crumb? I don't know. The texture is just so good on these. I am really, really pleased. So that recipe was from, sorry, I still have my computer here, from Taste Better from Scratch. I will link that down below, just as usual. I think I forgot to say that in all the confusion. Not the confusion, but like the distractedness that was this video. But I'm super pleased with these. I hope my husband will be super pleased with these. I think he will. It was going to be a surprise for him tomorrow morning. But like I said, he came home earlier than I thought, and he came out to go to the store and then to go get the kids while they were baking, and he could smell them. So I just fessed up. I said, hey, I'm making you scones for breakfast tomorrow along with like the bacon and eggs and stuff. And he just kind of looked and I said, they're cranberry orange scones. And he's like, oh, I was going to ask because that's my favorite kind. I'm like, I know it is. So hopefully he'll be super pleased with this. I think that this is good just as a basic scone recipe. You know, you could put, maybe instead of doing orange zest, you could do a lemon zest with some blueberries. I bet that would be so delicious. So yeah, very pleased with this. I'll try to get you guys a little bit of a close-up. And I'm just so happy, again, to be doing a baking video and to kind of be on the tail end of this and the tail end of the work stuff for the day. I'm feeling a lot more relief that I've been able to get through these things. And it was a good thing that I had my therapy appointment when I did, because my phone was about to die and that would have sucked if I had videoed more thinking I was actually filming and then not. That would have maybe set me over the edge today, to be perfectly honest. But I think that's going to be it. I'm going to eat this. And then I think I'm going to take Max around the neighborhood because he's been a good boy and he has not been able to get out much today. And check in with work one more time. And I think that's going to be it for my work day because my kids are probably going to be home then. But I'm super pleased with this recipe. I'm so happy I actually got to bake today. I was really hoping I'd get to do that. If you like the baking content, if you like just the personality that I bring, please go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell, give it a like, comment down below. Do you have a favorite scone recipe? This one was very easy to make. Like, I mean, I was only using like a quarter of my brain actually focused on it while making it, and I somehow did not screw it up. So great reviews for that. But go ahead and comment down below, and I will look forward to seeing you the next time. Bye.